I have lived in Cranston my whole life, and one thing I can say for sure is that everyone was always busy. Parking lots have always been full, fields and parks are packed with kids every day. That is one thing about Cranston. The people that live here just love to be around each other. They will wait all week to see their sports friends at games on the weekends. So I'm sure you can imagine how weird it feels to drive past empty playgrounds, to hear silence when I drive by baseball fields that were once filled with cheers, screams, and chants. The fields and the playgrounds get no use anymore. They've become prime locations for dog walking, which I consider a plus, but they're not being used for what they were intended for. These empty fields represent the kids who are missing out on their favorite hobbies, who are missing out on being with their friends. I never thought seeing an empty soccer field that I have not stepped foot on since the 9th grade would make me so emotional. Every time I drive by, I am reminded of what is going on in the world. It's easy to pretend like the pandemic does not exist when I'm alone in my room. I can act like the masks hanging on a hook on my door are normal. But as soon as I get off the highway to come home, I know I'm minutes away from driving by the ice rink and my old school, all places that hold memories not just of mine, but of many of the people who live in Western Cranston. Every Friday and Saturday night, this parking lot would be full. Lines would be out the doors as students, parents, teachers, and members of the community waited to get into the game. Now the doors are locked, and there are no cars in the parking lot, even on the weekends. Both my old middle school and high school got out before 2:30. However, there was always something going on at both schools until 5 o'clock, sometimes later. Clubs, sports, meetings, etc. caused some people to be at school for almost their entire day. Now I drive by at 2:30 and there are less than 50 kids at the two schools combined. Because of COVID, students and staff are urged out of the building right on time in order to allow time for cleaning. Another place in my community that was filled with hard workers, students trying hard to finish projects, to enter in contests, athletes working out to prepare for their next game. Now it is empty. I roll my windows down and hear silence. Silence can be calming, but something about hearing nothing in a space that is usually filled with activity is eerie and made me feel uneasy. There isn't much to say about 2020, but there's a lot to show for it. It's definitely not all good, and many people say that it's all bad, but it's hard to put it into words. If you're watching this in the future, you might not be able to understand what it felt like to live through this, but this is an accurate representation of what it looked like. And if you're watching it as someone who experienced 2020, then I'm sure that these images brought up some emotions that you felt during this year.